Hey, what's poppin', folks? It's your boy Tacho here, and we are back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Alright, so the first round of the Vault of Heaven is over. Let's take a look at how your boy actually did. Alright, so I'm ranked 206 with 3 hours left in the season, so that's pretty good. Pretty much means I am guaranteed to stay. Alright, we got minus 37 on defense. I only had one defensive lift loss. I actually had 2 defense losses, but one of them was negated by the lift score reduction. And then I managed to get 21k and 387 lift. So I was able to make it to tier 38. And that means I am going to stay in the vault for the next round. Now, my overall impressions on the vault are that it really wasn't that much different from tier 21 to 27. Pretty much everybody that made it to the vault were able to do so if they got to tier 27. So not a very hard requirement. I'm sure a lot of people were able to get there. So it really wasn't that different from tier 21 in past seasons. But I think next season is really going to be where we put the vault to the test. Because the people that made it to tier 38 are the cream of the crop in Aether Raids. And it's pretty much just going to be a big fight between all of us. So we'll have to see how I do next round to really get a good judgment. But I just want to give you guys a couple of tips and maybe some do's and don'ts of the vault if you're trying to improve and do better. So hopefully you can manage to stay in the vault if you're struggling. Alright, so first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at my defense. I've shown this defense off multiple times already, so not really much point in going over it in depth, but the idea is that all my cavalry units have budding bow, so I can get a cheap shot in, maybe take a bunch of chip damage between their counterattack and push 4, and then I'll be able to queue up Wings of Mercy with my other units for a surprise KO. Works out pretty well most of the time. And on offense, I've also taken off the Bolt Tower, so I'm only running 2 structures here. Obviously the ladder, you can't really go wrong with it. I only had to use it once too, so pretty awesome. And we have the Dark Shrine, which is currently the bonus structure. I will admit the Dark Shrine is one of the worst bonus structures, alongside all of the schools and the Bright Shrine as well. You don't want to try to run any active debuffs on your team, because if you're doing that, then that means the foes can easily set up a restore trap and come at you. So you don't want to be caught off guard like that. I would try to avoid running any active debuffs. And actually, really quickly, we can take a look over here. And you'll notice this guy, he is running Temari on his air. And this is a pretty solid debuff weapon, but like, I've never really been a fan of it for Aether Raids. Because it's just like putting a big target on your head that says, okay, come at me with a restore trap. So you want to try to avoid running active debuffs if you can. Obviously, we really can't do anything about it if there's a debuff structure as the bonus. But in seasons where that's not the case, you can definitely manage. Oh, if you guys want to see what kind of build I would recommend for air, we can go over here and take a look at this one. This has got to be the most, like, disgusting air build I've ever seen for Aether Raids. This weapon is effective against cavalry, and it has hardy bearing built in. Disarm trap, of course, so she can test traps for free. And then attack and defense unity as well. So you can't even debuff this air. It's only going to make her stronger and hit harder. So the idea with this air build is that she can just go in and easily one-shot any cavalry unit. And cav lines are basically the most common defense team you're going to see in the vault. Obviously, I'm running one, but if we go over here, we can actually take a look on my friends list and I'll show you guys firsthand. So look at this. Alright, number 1, we have a cav line. Number 2, we have a cav line. Number 3 is me. Obviously, I'm using a cav line. Number 4 is another cav line. Okay, and then number 5, we have... Oh, okay, so Yuzu broke the chain there. We have actually a infantry pulse setup. Alright, that's cool. Or, my bad, not Yuzu. Akatu Ariha. Shoutouts to Ariha, by the way. Alright, we got 11 Seti, who has conveniently taken off mock battles. So we can't see what they're running. And then Kev also has a Cav line. Basically, I think I'm beating a dead horse. No pun intended. But Cav lines are the most popular defense team in the vault. And because of that, I stopped running the Bolt Towers, so I only have 2 structures, like I said, and way more space to maneuver my units on the bottom. So just a bit of advice there. Also, if we take a look at my offenses, so these are the teams that I was running on offense. Of course, we've got Resplendent Ike, a pretty solid unit to run, especially with Bracing Stance. All right, we got Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here. This guy is about to get a Resplendent Alt too, so it's like Dumb and Dumberer now. But the point is, I feel like Brave Ike is actually not quite as dominating as people might think, because he's so commonly used, and him and Lucina is like the most usable combo in Aether Raids. Way too many people have wisened up to it, and they have a lot of ways to counter him. Typically, you'll see Hardy Bearing on red units and so. So I find myself using Resplendent Ike way more often, and if not Resplendent Ike, then I'll go ahead and use Fallen Ike. Typically only if they have the Infantry School, which I gotta admit, the Infantry School is kind of like a double-edged sword with Fallen Ike running around. You don't want to make him more powerful. But in my personal preference, in my personal opinion, I do feel like it's better, because the Infantry School, they're not always going to have Fallen Ike on the team, and if they don't, you're really going to hurt them. But if they do happen to have Fallen Ike, it's like an automatic loss. So it's really pick and choose. Do you want to be able to wreck everybody else, or are you that afraid of Fallen Ike? That's going to be the determinant on whether or not you actually go for the Infantry School. Okay, we also have Duo's Hindrance. I think this has pretty much become the most useful defensive structure in the game now, after we have stupid stuff like Duo Peony and Duo Lin and Duo Altina. You just got to have this structure now. It's pretty much mandatory to do well. And of course I have the Shrines also, and the Panic Manor, which I'm going to be able to level up again to get to a target HP range of 75. That's so disgusting. Like, if we go ahead and do a quick fight here, like, we'll show, like, my Ike has 71 HP, so just barely enough to escape the Panic Manor right now. But after we level it up again, that's not going to be the case. So it's pretty crazy that they let us upgrade that structure one more time. So I think I've rambled on enough about my offenses. Oh, hold on. Wait. Actually, there's a couple of things I didn't bring up. My bad, guys. Okay, so Lolina, I've been running her on offense quite a bit this round, and I found her to be even more useful on offense than we thought she'd be on defense. Of course, Lolina is just Ophelia on a horse, so she seems like she would fit right at home on a Cav line defense team. But she's also really good on offense too, because she comes with Pulse Smoke right out of the box. So you can have her run up and clap somebody for free, then go ahead and dance or reposition her out of the way. And because she went ahead and used Pulse Smoke, you're free to just go ahead and bait the rest of their team, assuming they're using like an IP setup or something of that nature. So Lolina has been very useful for me this round, and also Guinevere as well. I feel like Guinevere is really underrated right now. Too many people are sleeping on this unit, but she is super good. She's like an automatic win if the foe's teams are magic heavy. So basically, if all of her skills are taken into account, she has essentially over 60 res. And then her weapon also heals her, and it's got effective against tomes, and it also nullifies Dragon's adaptive damage. So, like, this unit is ridiculous, man. She is so good. I want to see more people start using her, because she's definitely worth it. Okay, but that pretty much goes over all the stuff I wanted to over there. So, is there anything else to talk about on defense? I don't really see a point in showing off my defenses, because how many times am I going to show off this same team over and over? I guess we can show off the losses, though, because those are pretty important. Alright, so this guy over here, he's got Splashy Bucket Air, Freya, we got Leaf and Edelgard. So this is one of those few defense replays that actually impressed me. This is the first person who ever managed to Gale Force my team successfully. So shoutouts to him for doing that. But I guess there is one slight to say, is that his 2 Gale Forcers are legendary heroes. So imagine if it was Wind and Earth season, he would not be able to run these 2 and he'd have to use a completely different team. But still got to give credit where credit is due. He was able to Gale Force my team, and no one else has ever been able to do that. So congrats to this guy. Alright, he waits for the Bolt Tower, and then here we go. Alright, so there's 1 Gale Force. And then he can go ahead and smite up Angry Woman. And there's going to be a triple Gale Force right there, so pretty easy. Oh, I guess you could slight him again for not only using the legendary heroes, but also not managing to break the pots. I still thought it was impressive, though, because, like I said, no one's ever Gale Forced my team. So definitely shoutouts to that. Okay, this guy over here. Alright, he's got Tweedledum. And he's got Brave Hector. Okay, yeah, this is pretty much the build you want to run on Brave Hector in Aether Raids. Give him Bonfire and give him Mythic Boost, because you want to be able to get the one-shots. I saw another replay where someone had Soul on Hector and it didn't work, because I was able to queue up Wings of Mercy by surviving his counterattack. So you want to be able to one-shot on the counter with Bonfire. Do not allow them to survive and use Wings of Mercy. Make sure you get rid of their units right on the spot. So that's why this guy's got Bonfire on Hector. I guess really quickly we can show off the Hector that had Soul. Alright, so right here. Yeah, just like I said. Soul on Hector, not good enough to work. Alright, but I just want to quickly show you guys what happens when Hector is not able to one-shot on the counter. Yup. So we got that Wings of Mercy jump and then a whole bunch of shenanigans. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about the vault so far. As far as do's and don'ts goes, and just some basic general advice. You really want to just go over to your friends list and do a whole bunch of mock battles against all of the different teams that people run. Really, it's just cav lines right now, so make sure you're able to deal with cav lines. Otherwise, you're not going to do well in the vault, so just do a whole bunch of practice matches against a bunch of different ones. And also make sure you're prepared for other teams too, like infantry pulse teams like I mentioned, and whatever else other people are running. So that's going to wrap us up for today's video. Pretty cool round in the Vault of Heaven, but I think next round is really going to be the one that decides if the vault is hard or not. So look forward to my opinion on that. Let me know in the comments section down below how you guys did in the vault, or what your thoughts are on the vault so far. Was it harder for you, or was it easier for you? Definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. But this is your boy Tasho signing out. So take care, fellas. And I will catch you guys again on the flip side.